Okay, the top 10 worst free agency signings of 2026. My number one worst free agency signing of 2026 is Daniel Jones. And the reason Daniel Jones is the worst free agency signing of 2026 is because of the injury and the price. When you come off an Achilles, if you look at the data, it's really rare a player returns to 100% form, especially someone like Daniel Jones who uses his mobility very heavily. Even though not a lot of people think of him like that, he's a dual threat. There's some plays of Daniel Jones running away from defenses, making some big plays with his legs. To come off an Achilles, I know his performance was good last season, but then $50 million a year for 2 years, you are putting your franchise at risk. You're putting the whole entire Colts franchise in the hands of Daniel Jones. This can come to backfire for them for years, especially since they mortgage their future with that Sauce trade. If Daniel Jones doesn't return to form, I mean, we're talking about the Colts being the bottom of their division, especially in this tough division with the Jags and the Texans now. They're going to be third, fourth, competing with the Titans at the bottom. I just don't like it. The second worst signing of 2026 free agency, we're going to go back to the Colts, Alec Pierce. Alec Pierce, 4 years, $114 million, $27 million a year. And I know Alec Pierce showed flashes. He has the potential to be a number one, but you're paying him number one price when he has only put up 1,000 yards one time. His career high in catches, 47 catches. And yeah, that's a high yards per catch, almost 20 yards per catch. Maybe over that, right? Over 20 yards per catch. But now you're the number one. You trade Michael Pittman away. The defense is going to be keyed on you. You're going to be facing those number one corners. I wouldn't be surprised if he has a down year. And I don't mean that negatively, but by a down year, I mean not being the price of $27 million, right? When you're paying $27 million, he has to put up 1,000 yards next season, right? If Alec Pierce has less than 1,000 yards next season, we're talking about one of the biggest overpays ever. I think this was more of a supply and demand. There's not many receivers out there. We need to keep our guy. I don't like either of these Colts signings, and that's why they're 1 and 2. Number 3, Alontae Taylor of the Titans. 3 years, $60 million. I do like Alontae Taylor as a player, but he got number one cornerback money, and I just don't know if he's a number one corner. Their overall defense was not good, and all receivers got yards against the Titans. So, although Alontae Taylor had a decent year in that horrible Titans defense, you're banking on him having a number one cornerback season, and there's a high chance that he doesn't perform up to the standards of $20 million a year. Fourth worst free agency signing of 2026, Jaelan Phillips. 4 years, $120 million, $30 million a year. His overall career stats are not very good, and I know he performs at a high level when he plays on the field, and maybe he just has never gotten the snaps. But to give a guy $30 million who's never gotten the snaps and shown he's an elite pass rusher and can be the number one pass rushing option, I think it's just an overpay. If he gets injured when he's had injury problems in the past, you're honestly just burning so much money on your defense if you're the Panthers, when that's not the biggest concern. The Panthers' defense was not their biggest concern. It was their offense. So I just don't think this Jaelan Phillips signing is a good signing. Fifth worst signing of free agency, Tyler Linderbaum. Tyler Linderbaum is a good center, probably the best center in the league. But you're paying him $27 million a year. $9 million over the next highest center. That's a premium overpay. He not only has to be the best center in the league, he has to be above elite to afford this price. And I know as the Raiders you have to pay a premium, but I still have to grade it honestly and say that this is not a good signing for the price. You're paying $27 million for a center. Just is a misallocation. Sixth worst signing, Bradley Chubb. 3 years, $43.5 million. As someone, who's dealt with Bradley Chubb in the past as a Broncos fan, I think Bradley Chubb always had that potential to be a good pass rusher. But he's never been that elite number one pass rusher. Maybe 1 year. And now he's 29, missing last season, getting released. And this could definitely go wrong for the Bills. I don't think it's as bad as the Jaelan Phillips, which is why I have it at 6. But you're really hoping for a bounce back to 2023 form. And I don't know if that's going to come now as 29 years old when Bradley Chubb has always relied on his athletic ability and his strength. And when we know that's deteriorating as seasons go on. Number 7, I have to have a Bronco in here because we need a Bronco in here. And this one, to no surprise, Adam Trautman. I think this is probably the Broncos' biggest misstep. A lot of the other signings people are upset about with the Broncos have not been, going after players and just re-signing. But Adam Trautman overall did not produce as a tight end. And you may say, oh, he's a blocking tight end. As a blocking tight end, he was not good either. So you're paying a decent amount of money for a tight end who is not the best at blocking, who's not the best receiver. Maybe he's a leader in the locker room. I just don't like that overall signing, especially when the Broncos need to go for playmakers. The number 8th worst signing of 2026 free agency, Wandale Robinson. He got 4 years, $80 million, was previously with the Giants, now with the Titans. I know the Titans need a receiver, and I know that you need to get Cam Ward-Weapons. You spend a premium on Wandale Robinson, who I feel got a lot of his yards in garbage time last year. And when the Giants were playing for nothing, that's when he would go off or get a lot of yards. And I just think, Wandale is not a bad player, but I think this is an overpay for the Titans. And although I think he will serve as a decent receiver for the Titans, I think that they should have looked towards the draft, as there wasn't that many good receivers in this free agency class, instead of taking a $20 million swing on Wandale. 9th worst signing of free agency, Odafe Oweh for the Washington Commanders. 4 years, $100 million, I just think was too much of a premium. I know he had a good back end with the Chargers, and I think that he could turn out decent. This is why I have him 9th on the list. I still think this could be a good signing for the Commanders. But the Commanders are more than an edge away on defense, especially. It feels like they were really not good at stopping the run last year. You paid top edge money, and I know he's young, so that's why it could turn out well, but you are definitely putting a lot on the line for a player who hasn't proven much. 10th worst signing of free agency. This might shock people, but I'm going Travis Etienne. And the reason I'm putting Travis Etienne here is not because of the deal. 4 years, $52 million is a lot, but it's because of the team. I know the Saints are probably going to lose Kamara, and he's declining. And Kellen Moore will probably be able to utilize him. So that's why I'm 10th, because I still think the Saints are going to be able to utilize Etienne to his full ability. I don't like the allocation, especially with the Saints being in a lot of cap trouble and putting $13 million towards a running back when you know you're going to have other holes on the O-line, defense. And that's why I think Etienne is the 10th worst signing of free agency.